Hello beautiful people and welcome to my channel. My name is Wajiha and today we are going to talk about branding 101. Literally everything you need to know about branding your business or branding yourself. This is some of the advice that I wish someone had given to me in one simple video, but that's okay, I got you. So this is basically everything I've learned, all the resources I had to look at, and everything that I really found was important when coming up with my brand. We are going to be going through a few steps that is going to make this process a little easier. So number one, we are going to start with is describing your business or brand in 6 words. Now try to think of the tone, the style, the aesthetic, how you want the personality of your brand to come off as. So this could be words like fun, creative, or simple, professional. Also in terms of like style or aesthetic, it can be like boho or modern or futuristic, anything. So just think of the 6 words that you really want to use for your brand. So at this point, you can even look at different other brands. Basically, whatever your business or brand is kind of similar to, you can look at different other companies or different other businesses for a little bit of inspiration, and hopefully that inspires you to think of the describing words that you would like to use for your business. Also, how do you want your audience to feel? Do you want them to feel happy when they see the brand? Do you want them to feel like something that I can rely on for advice or education? Just think about how you want your audience to feel when coming up with these describing words for your brand. Not only do you want to look at what you would like, but also what you don't like. For example, looking at other brands and you're kind of just like, there's a lot of jargon in this brand, you don't like the color scheme, etc., etc. It really does help in terms of narrowing it down and also making sure that you are avoiding the things that you really don't like that other brands do. Number 2 is your mission statement. Your mission statement is super important. Not only will this really help guide the rest of your branding, the rest of your pretty much everything, but also you're gonna have to share it anyways. So might as well think of your mission statement now. It's great to kind of think about all of this first and foremost, so then it really does guide every single step afterwards. And now I'm going to put a bunch of mission statements from other different companies or brands that you can kind of look at as a template or like as some inspiration. It doesn't have to be super long. It can be literally like a sentence. It can be a few sentences. It really just depends on you. Now with your mission statement, you really want to dig deep into why you started this brand, what your values are. That's also something that a lot of companies or brands do put into their mission statements as well. You also want to think of what your brand stands for. That's something you can also include into your mission statement. Those are just a few pointers when you are creating your mission statement. Number 3 in branding is your target audience. Now, you need to know who you are targeting. It is going to be really hard for you to target everybody, so you really want to hone down and look at the people who you are targeting for your brand or your business. This can also help when you are trying to choose what kind of brand aesthetic you want to go for. Obviously, if you are a little bit more targeting towards younger audiences, you want to go for something more fun, more creative, more energetic. If you want to kind of target maybe like an older audience or an academic audience, then you would want to go for something a little bit more professional, a little bit more reliable. So think about their age, what they do for a living, what are their interests, what are they looking for when they come to your brand. Number 4, so now we get to the fun part. We are going to be looking at brand colors. Now, one of the best places to go to look for colors, especially color schemes that match, is definitely Pinterest, hands down. They have great color schemes going on already. You can even put in, like, for example, whatever aesthetic you want to go for. Let's say you're going for like a beachy aesthetic or you're going for a professional aesthetic. They already have colors and color schemes that really go well together that will make your brand look or portray a certain kind of feel. which is amazing because pretty much the work is really done for you. Make sure you do your research and look at the color schemes that work for you, and also go with the aesthetic, the style, and the tone that you want to portray for your brand. Also, when you do decide what colors you want, make sure to write down the hex codes of these colors. I cannot tell you the amount of times where I was, for example, using Canva to create certain content and I wanted that color to match like my blog or my website. And I would have to like look at the little finder and try to find like, oh, like, yeah, this kind of looks like it, and have to keep on moving around to see like, oh, this is the color that I want, this is not the color that I want. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself. Just write down the hex code because it is going to be consistent throughout all the platforms that you use. Whenever you go on to whatever program you're using and they ask you to choose a color, and there's usually that code at the bottom, that is your hex code. So make sure whatever color you find, whatever color you want, just write that down somewhere where you put it on, and you can use that for pretty much everything and all softwares. Number 5 is fonts. Now, this is another big thing where you want to keep your fonts consistent. If you are starting up a business brand or just like a personal brand, most likely you are going to have different social media platforms. Like, let's say, for example, you have a YouTube or a blog or a Instagram. What you want to do is try to keep your texts and fonts consistent so people recognize it, and also it just saves you a lot of time, because if you know what you want going in, you're not like sitting there being like, oh, what font looks good. Ain't nobody got time for that. Do yourself a favor and just pick a few fonts that you love, usually around 2 to 3. I would say just have 2 main ones, just in case you do also want to find similar fonts to the ones that you have chosen, just because some programs may not have the font that you like. So just to save you trouble and panic, make sure you look at similar fonts. So just in case you come across that, you already know which font that you need. So number 6 is your primary logo. So obviously everyone knows what a logo is. The best advice for this that I have found from pretty much all resources is that simple is the best. Just keep in mind, for example, if you are doing your own website, or let's say you're doing like a clothing brand or something, you want a logo that you can consistently put on every platform, or even, for example, whatever merchandise you have or sell. And you want to make sure that it is simple enough so it can be transferred to whatever material that it's on. When coming up with like a stamp or a sticker, a lot of the times, a lot of other companies may not accept a more detailed logo, so they will ask you to maybe simplify it. So just think about all these things and where you want your brand to go, where you want your business to go when thinking of these logos. Now, of course, I've already mentioned this before, but Pinterest is a great place where you can look at different logo designs. Also, actually, Canva has stepped up its game, and you can even just search up logo and they will give you a bunch of logo ideas that are actually very, very cute, and you really don't even need to do anything. You can just pretty much either replace your name, replace like the words that you want, or maybe like the picture or something. I would say that if you really are in the creating stage and not in the ideation stage, then Canva is great and will give you so many really, really good templates when it comes to designing your logo. Number 7 is, what type of voice are you going for? Now, one of the biggest things when coming up with a brand or a business is that you need to talk to your audience, or at least connect to your audience. So you really got to think of what kind of voice you want to go for. Is it an energetic voice? Is it a calm voice? Is it like a peaceful voice? Is it more of a professional voice? Is it playful, or is it more fun? You also want to think of what your purpose is when thinking of your voice. Now, depending on your brand or your business, is the purpose of it to sell, or is it to entertain, or is it to educate? Because based on what your purpose is, it really does play a big part in how your voice should come off. Alrighty folks, so that is pretty much it for this video. I really hope you found it helpful. Good luck in creating your brand or your business, or everything that you need to do. I know you got this. Let me know in the comments down below something new that you learned about coming up with your brand that you really didn't know before. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.